Bitcoin appears to be on the brink of an absolute price explosion, and may there be new evidence in the chart right here, right now, suggesting that whales may have potentially been accumulating here over the past month in anticipation of the BAKKT futures contracts launching on September 23rd. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. What is going on, my friends? Today I'd like to discuss Bitcoin and the action we're seeing inside the chart right now. As I stated in the introduction, we all know that over the past month, the volatility has been quiet. There hasn't been much going on here. The equilibrium has been a real factor here inside this market. But right now, what I'm beginning to see here is that there is starting to become evidence in the technicals here, suggesting that there may be more buy pressure than what we're seeing from the surface level. So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up, all right? So we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice, this is not trading advice, these are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's begin right here on the daily time frame. Now, it's quite evident, as I just stated, Bitcoin is still ranging inside this equilibrium, the purple box here, roughly from 9,900 all the way up to 10,550. What's interesting now is that the BAKKT futures contracts have launched. At this point in time, they have launched on Sunday at 8 p.m. EDT, all right? And you could see here that the Wall Street Journal has actually published this article here saying that the first trade went off and was executed at $10,115 USD. So right now, the contracts are live, but as we all know, only the futures markets are open on the weekends here on Sunday evening. So tomorrow is when I'm expecting that we may finally get some more volatility in this market. Of course, that's just speculative, but BAKKT has been, you know, something that of concern here for many in the space really for the past month. Now, before we get into some stuff that maybe not many people have been looking at, what I want to show you here is let's briefly cover our moving averages. If we go to the weekly, we got to see here that the 21-week moving average, which has been very, very substantial in Bitcoin's history all throughout the bull market last time, the 21 moving average here played a significant role in support. Then once we crossed over to it, it played a significant resistance all throughout the bear market. We also see this if we go back in Bitcoin's history, but you can do that on your own time. And most recently here, when we saw Bitcoin take a large dump earlier this week, we saw that it went down, tested that 21-week moving average, and bounced up accordingly. Now, what I want to look at here as well, let's go over to the BLX. If you notice here, the weekly close has now come in, and what we're seeing here is that the close was a very nice bullish looking candle here, a nice wick along the bottom, and we still are on an upward sloping trajectory here in terms of building these higher lows, right? We are still, of course, on a lower high trajectory with a flat line of resistance along the top, but along the bottom here we still are upward sloping, especially on the weekly time frame. And our last low, as I just stated, coincides with tapping that 21-week moving average. That is what I like to see. And if we now pull up the RSI here as well on the weekly time frame, what I want you all to notice here is that let's turn this on, there we go, is that we are on a complete hidden bullish divergence right now, right? We had our low here, then a low here, and a low here. You could see these were upward sloping in the price action, right? Three highs. And on our RSI, we accordingly looked at 3 lows. All right, that is a hidden bullish divergence. Does it have to play out? Absolutely not, but at this point in time, it is something that I'm not discrediting. So we have that there, the tap off the tentatively supportive 21-week moving average. Then we have our triple hidden bullish divergence on the weekly RSI there as well. And now, my friends, what I want to look at here as well, this is something that many have not been looking at. And this, for me, is something of significance here, all right? And this, my friends, is the accumulation distribution indicator, all right? And the easiest way to put this without getting into a bunch of mumbo jumbo, technical garbaggio that many don't want to, really talk about. The best way to analyze the accumulation distribution is simply looking for divergences, right? Just like I showed you with the RSI before, we saw the price going up, but the RSI was going down, right? That was a hidden bullish divergence. Now here, what I want to point out here on the daily time frame is that what we see here was that when we put in our last top here, this was the double top, right? Our price has been steadily moving down over the past month, right? But I want you to take a look here at the accumulation that's been happening, right? Price is moving down, accumulation moving up. Now, we have to take this with a grain of salt because also here, the volume has been just absolutely pitiful. So for me right now, for Don Carbonaccio, what I have to consider here is that this metric may be a little flawed purely because the volume is so low. But on the contrary here, what I also have to understand is that these divergences, right, lower price action trending down and trending upwards on the accumulation, they don't happen all the time, right? It's not like you just see this everywhere happening over and over again. In fact, if you take a look here and you look at all of this price data here on the accumulation distribution, we haven't really had a divergence here until all the way back in the bear market, okay? And my friends, that last time we could see was down here roughly on January 10th, 2019, all right? The price had just fallen from above 4,000 down into the mid 3,000s. The price all within this range here, you could see trending downward, right? And what wound up happening here is we had our little accumulation divergence, trend still going down in price action, and the accumulation started to have a divergence to the upside. And what wound up happening right from that point, ladies and gentlemen, ding, 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 chicken wings for dinner, tofu if you're vegan. Our divergence here in the accumulation distribution chart wound up being the absolute bottom before we had our run up. All right, that for me is the last significant divergence. Otherwise, this whole time, right, we haven't really seen much in terms of a divergence. It's kind of just been very straightforward here. But right now, I'm seeing here that we are trending downward, right, and we are moving upward on the accumulation. All right, so this is a divergence. And like I stated, that is what you look for in this metric when you're analyzing. So for me right now, when I couple all of this together, right, with the potential hidden bullish divergence there, the rounding bottom, high or low trajectory here, the weekly candle now coming in looking like it has a nice bullish doji painted in the chart right now, right, with that buy pressure. For me, ladies and gentlemen, this is looking a little bullish to me. Now, what we have to understand here is that there are external factors coming into play here, especially with BAKKT launching, this week. I am expecting that there may be some further volatility to come inside this market. And for me right now, when we look, let's go back to the Bitstamp chart here. When we're looking at this, ladies and gentlemen, nothing at this point in time in terms of the price has really changed. We're stuck inside this equilibrium. We're above that resistance, below that resistance point there around 11,000, and we are above the support here around 9,500. So right now it appears that not much has changed, but when we look at it on that weekly time frame, I think that there's starting to become a picture painted here that should not be overlooked, in my opinion. Now, this doesn't mean that this can't just dump and go deep down into the crypto abyss. Surely it could. And you all know here on the futures chart, the CME futures chart, We still have this gap here looming at 8,500. It does not have to fill, but that gap may look to potentially fill. But again, back here on the weekly time frame, there is starting to be more and more evidence to me that maybe this doesn't have to be so bearish, right? And also, keep it on your radar, we are still trading now above this 0.382 Fibonacci level, which has wanted to act as support this whole time. You could see this has been such a key level here. All of these candle bodies really paying a close respect here to that 0.382. Right? And that is a retracement there from the top of our parabolic run from the bottom of the bear market. Let's get this crypto. So there's just more evidence piling up for me that this could be bullish. Of course, right now, I think it's foolish to be anything but neutral with an open mind to be trading in either direction that this trend winds up breaking. There's a ton of sentiment here that this could wind up being one gigantic bull flag, right? And we're seeing the rounding bottom, the divergences on the RSI, and the accumulation distribution. We're seeing textbook tentative support being built right here, right now. And the only looming factor for me is that this BAKKT launch this week. And the reason I say this is not necessarily because of these contracts, right? It's really nothing to do with the BAKKT contracts themselves. It's with the maestros of this market, the same market movers that have been moving the market the whole time. It's just that they love to use, in my opinion, speculatively, they love to use these types of catalysts to pull the strings of the market, right? And pull little average Joe and James at the water cooler, just pull them along on a string and liquidate them, hit their stop losses, etc., etc. So for me right now, I'm looking at this from a dual approach. Right now, shout out to my VIPs. I have kept them updated with my strategy here. Right now, I am speculating long at this point in time, but right now, I'm ready to close my long if things go sour, and I'm ready to switch to a short position very, very quickly here. As I've stated, I keep you all updated in real time with my positions in VIP. I hope that you see right now that the time is ticking here for a potentially heinous market movement to happen in either direction, right? And you guys know I've been looking at this from all perspectives as of late, right? And I have really loved to flip this chart upside down and look at this as well. Let's actually go back over to my chart here. It really gives a nice perspective. I don't want you guys to lose the perspective here that this still could be very, very bullish here in terms of if we break this $11,000 region. In my opinion, it looks very, very similar to what we saw at the bottom of the bear market, right? And even one more piece of the pie to add in here is the fact that that accumulation distribution looks very similar in terms of divergences on the one-day time frame, all the way back to what we saw here at the bottom of the bear market, as I just showed you earlier. Let's get this crypto. So the data is starting to pile up here, ladies and gentlemen, that this could be a little bit more bullish than bearish, in my opinion. But like I've stated, if we drop below, we lose this support, right? We put in a lower low instead of this higher low trajectory. If we lose this support here, it would not surprise me in the least, not at all, to potentially go and fill that gap down at 8,500, which is quite a drop from where we are, ladies and gentlemen, roughly around 14%. That is a heinous drop. And if we drop that far, you guys know how these markets generally tend to work, right? It's too easy, right, to just place an order. Well, you know, Kirby, then I'm just going to place an order at the $8,500 level and I'm ready to get this crypto. It's generally not that easy, James. The market tends to either overshoot or front run, right? And by that, I mean maybe it gets down to a level that triggers before your buy is there, or it overshoots it, liquidates you and wrecks you and then goes right back up, right? For me right now, I have my finger on the pulse of this market. I'm looking at it from every angle I can. As I've stated for you all here, in terms of the weekly chart and the daily chart, I'm beginning to see some things here that is leaning me a little bit more bullish than not. Again, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a wizard. I'm not a future. I can't predict the future. What I'm showing you here is that per the technicals, I'm starting to see things that could lean this a little bit bullish. Now, like I've stated, this doesn't mean that I'm just blindly hoping that this goes to the moon. Sure, I'm in a little long position right now. If we are looking like things are breaking in the direction that I want, I'm going to add to my position. I'll keep you updated in VIP. If things break the other way, this isn't like, oh, Kirby, you got wrecked, you were bullish and got wrecked. That's not anything. My stop loss is going to get me out of my position for a very low risk trade setup where I didn't lose much and my reward was very, very high in terms of what I believe could be a nice run to the upside if this plays out the way that I see it. And on the contrary, if that gets stopped out, I'm going to be looking to flip my position upon a bearish confirmation to potentially go short and get that yield to the downside. This is not about picking Team Bull or Team Bear, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this video and you feel like that, the thing is, my friend, is that you're the reason then. And I hope that this is not any of you here. But these people that think like that, you're either a bull or you're a bear. That means that you're going to get wrecked, especially long term. You may win a few trades here and there, but if that's your stance on how trading works, that you're a bull or you're a bear, you're not both, that is why so many traders lose long term, right? Trading is not about picking one side. You play both directions. And what I'm awaiting for now is confirmations here. And I'm ready to add to my position. I'm ready to subtract from my position, take profits, or totally switch my thesis here upon a bearish confirmation and go short as well. And like I've stated, I keep you all updated in VIP with that. And with the area that we're at in the chart right now, this to me looks like we are completely at the end of the barrel here, ladies and gentlemen. This looks like a powder keg ready to absolutely explode, in my opinion. And like I've stated, the contracts have been opened now. Like I stated, the first trade was already launched there at 10,115 USD around 8 p.m. EDT. But the traditional markets open tomorrow morning. And for me right now, that is when I'm expecting for this to actually get a little bit of traction. But more so than that, what I'm believing, ladies and gentlemen, is that those contracts are going to have no influence on the price here. It's just going to be that the market movers who have been here all along are going to try and make it seem like those contracts are having some sort of significant impact on the market, just to toy with your emotions and try and get your crypto from you. But when you're seeing this like Don Carbonaccio, when you're strategizing in advance, this is when you look to play the game with them, ladies and gentlemen. Grab onto their coattails and ride that profit train. Others, they wind up taking the trip to Wrecked City. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, right now I'm prepared for both directions, up or down. It's all about low risk and high reward potential. Sure, you could wind up taking a small loss in one direction, but what happens if you switch and then you get that crypto in the other direction? You see, this is not a game where you win every trade, ladies and gentlemen, especially in a spot that's a stalemate like this. But if you're prepared for any of the action and you have a plan for, if this happens, then I do that. If that happens, then I do this. That is how you learn to crush the market. Prepare for every scenario. If you fail to plan, then your plan is to fail. Don Carbonaccio does not fail to plan. Don Carbonaccio plans to succeed. And I will be keeping you up to date in VIP with every plan that I formulate, every strategy that I produce, and I will be posting it for you in VIP as I make my trades, take my profits, adjust, re-strategize. I'll post it all for you in real time. I will see you all in VIP right now after this video. Shout out to all of my new future VIPs joining VIP right now after this video. I think that this week ahead is going to be absolutely huge here. And I'm ready to trade it absolutely aggressively. You guys know these moves that come out of these multi-month patterns, they generally tend to be large. As the longer a pattern forms, generally, the larger the potential is for the move to be even that much bigger, either to the upside or to the downside. You just have to prepare in advance for your strategies so that you're prepared for however this market tends to break, because right now I see that this does appear to be a stalemate here, but it's the little things, right? Like that accumulation, distribution, divergence that I was showing you earlier, right? We'll pull that up again just so you understand, right? This whole price action moving down and the accumulation moving up, right? Divergence there. On the weekly, we also have that hidden divergence. Just to recap again, ladies and gentlemen, the potentially hidden bullish divergence here. Let's pull this up. Potentially hidden triple bullish divergence, right? You see this here outlined with the stars. So for me right now, sure, as I've stated, I think that this has a little bit more bullish tendencies in the technicals, but if it breaks down and it negates all of that, I'm prepared as well to get this crypto. And one last thing here, I just wanted to point out that we are on a lower low on the Google trend data for the first time since our parabolic breakout of the bear market. But right now, I also want to point out that if you want to look at this from a different perspective, in the past, we've really dropped off significantly before our next booms, right? So even though we did put in a lower low and we have structurally changed here, right? This is the first lower low since the parabolic move. If you want to look at this, the silver lining potentially, you could see, I mean, look here in September 2017, we went from a 21 down to a 12, right? That's about a 40% drop off. And then we had the biggest parabolic run of all time. And you could see here, most recently, in May 2019, we went from an 18 to an 11, okay? 18 to an 11, about 40% again, before we then ripped to a new high at 26. So right now, maybe this is just setting up. Maybe this is actually more bullish here that the price, that the Google trend data has dropped so low. I mean, that's not, how I've been looking at it. It's retail interest is how I'm seeing this, but maybe, just maybe, this is a large dip like we've seen in the past before we get a new high. It's totally possible. Same here with the Fear and Greed Index. It's been quite low and things have flattened out. Is this just going to be a bottom here before we reverse the trend? We haven't been putting in new lower lows like we were. Maybe this is the bottom here as well in terms of the Fear and Greed Index. Time will tell. I think this week is going to be extremely telling for the trend overall. I think we're going to get a lot of answers this week in terms of the macro trend here for Bitcoin. If this is going to be one large multi-month bull flag forming here, or it's going to be more like a parabolic market cycle and a sell-off back down to the average price there, okay? Let's get this crypto. So guys, I think that I've outlined the week ahead for us here. I think I've outlined my observations for you here, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just ready to adjust, ready to make new entries, take profits, switch from long to short, short to long as need be here, because I do believe that this may get quite choppy, but the choppiness may be on bigger moves throughout the week. So right now, if you're not prepared, my friend, get ready, strap yourself in. I think this is going to be an absolutely immense week ahead. And like I stated this earlier, if you're not already in my VIP, I'm going to be posting every trade. Like I just stated, I'm going to be switching my positions around as need be. I'm going to post them all for you in VIP in real time. To the absolute second that I make my trades, I'll be posting them for you. And the same with my strategies. As I formulate new strategies, as I get ready to play breakouts, look to strike on opportunity that I see here. I'm going to post it all for you, because when I see potentially life-changing trading opportunity, I personally do not like to miss it or squander it. I look to play it to the best of my ability, and I will be posting all of my positions, etc. for you all in real time. Let's get this crypto. So guys, if you could one last time, moon up the likes, moon them up, smash those thumbs, click the subscribe button, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Let me know what you think down below about those divergences there. Both on the RSI and on that accumulation distribution. We haven't seen it since the bottom of the bear market, and now we're seeing it here again. So let me know, ladies and gentlemen, do you think that the whales have been secretly accumulating here? Time will tell. But right now, Don Carbonaccio is not focused on some hocus pocus garbaggio. I'm focused on making my trades here, taking high reward, low risk trade setups, and preparing to crush the market this week if these large, heinous moves occur. And I will be posting them all of my trades for you in real time in VIP. I will see you all in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. And until next time, my friends, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.